take a look at this and tell me what you think about this. Yeah, because they have to have a footing, and I know that that wall for every 4 feet above ground, it has to go. For every foot above ground, it's got to go at least 1 foot below ground. So a 4-foot wall will go down. All right, so a foot for every 3 feet. So that stem wall probably goes down a good, probably 24 inches into the ground.
So it's beyond.
So it's about right. Let me see if I can feel heat. I probably won't be able to feel it because when the material is real thick, you can't feel it as much. It's kind of hard to tell because the blocks are so thick that the heat that radiates between, it's one thing when it's drywall, when it's a 1/2-inch drywall, but when it's a 1 inch thick or 1 1/8 inch thick block, sometimes the heat doesn't transfer through. Good morning, folks. I'm Jeff Lutz with Bee Best Bee Removal, and what we got going on is a beehive in this wall here. It's been in here for about maybe 12 to 15 years, and the new owners bought the house. They want to get the bees taken care of because they've got kids and animals, and they don't want to have an active beehive. But because it's in a block wall, we're not going to be able to do live removal because there's a sidewalk that's literally less than about 15 to 20 feet from the hive. Not to mention, when you try to open up a block wall and do live removal, the likelihood of being able to get the hive out live is very minimal. In fact, on an established hive like this, I'd be willing to bet it's probably, if not 100%, pretty close to 100%, the hive's not going to be able to be taken out live. All it takes is for one of these homeowners to walk by with their dog as I'm shipping open the wall and they're getting attacked by 5,000 bees, you know.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of people walking their dogs around here and a lot of kids.
Oh yeah, well this is a perfect time to walk too. You know, it's late morning, early afternoon. Yep. You know, it feels like a weekend, but it's Friday.
Yep.
Let me know when you're ready.
Well, my ass is zipping up. So.
I'm going to zip it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea. Might as well. Doesn't make sense to not zip it up. You got your veil on. Well, oh, he got stung about 50 times. But he had his veil on, but he didn't zip. I told him it was cool. It's all good. Okay, we're now on the other side of that wall we were at earlier on the rec center side. Now we're on the residential side, and what we have is the bees going inside this block wall right here. We're going to get a little closer here in a second. I'm going to let you see the landing stain so you guys can see what a 10 to 15-year-old hive looks like on the surface of the entrance of the hive. So I'll pull this back a little bit. Actually, you can probably just stand like right there. See how dark that stain is? We call that a landing stain. Now, it actually looks like black molasses, it's so dark, but a stain that size and that color, that tells you this hive's been here for at least a decade or longer. You can just tell by the sheer darkness and the size diameter of it. Typically a hive that was there for about a year would look more like this part right here on the edges. It would be sort of a light tan like that. It would be a year or two old.
They're already starting to get a little feisty. Like more of them are coming out.
Yeah, they will. The guard bees.
Looks like they're kind of underneath the tree, no?
They're going into the crack in the block wall there. You can see they're coming out of that seam there.
Yeah.
I would stick something in there to prove the point, but I don't think that'd be a good point. I don't think that'd be a good idea. So in a case like this, when you have a beehive in a block wall like this, block walls have cells. So basically, if you see these seams right here, this is where the cell is, from here to here. So you have this hollow cell. When you look at a block, there's 2 hollow cells, and then there's the middle division point. And when they stack those up, usually what they'll do is about every second or third cell, they'll put concrete and steel in there. That's what makes the wall strong and gives it strength. And if it's not holding back a hillside or something like that, then they're not going to fill the whole wall with concrete and steel because it doesn't need to have that kind of structural strength. This is that type of wall where it's just basically a division wall. So probably on this one here, probably every third cell, every second or third cell has concrete and steel in it. So where they're getting in the wall, that's a hollow cell, basically from this top cap all the way down. It's a cell that's about like that big roughly, and they can build their hive in there, and they can fill that cell up all the way from the top plate all the way down to the ground. Now in some cases, when the hive gets really big, if the cells next to it are also hollow, I've seen it where they'll pack 2 cells all the way from the top all the way down, and you'll have, you know, a 70, 80 pound hive packed solid inside this wall, because this is about a 7-foot wall. And many times you have to, well, in that case there you have to cut the wall, or you have to chip the wall open in order to clean out all the hive and honeycomb. Whether these people are going to remove it or not, I don't know at this point. Sometimes the bees will go in, they'll go, you know, up a couple feet, 3 or 4 feet, and then they'll build their hive from there down. It just depends on when the hive, when the swarm first moved in, where they started originally building. But if I had to guess, because of the age of this hive and how dark that landing stain is, and the fact that it's been here for at least 10 to 15 years, I would just assume that the hive's probably packed solid from the top plate down. And then to be safe, I just do this. A lot of people don't, but I do it because for me, it's important that I don't leave any hive or honeycomb. When I'm doing that, I'll drill a hole in the cells to the left and right to make sure that there's no honeycomb in those cells, because sometimes people will clean this out and they'll say, oh, I got all the hive out, and it'll be packed solid in the cell to the left or right. And in some cases, both the left and right side cells will be packed, and they'll have this middle one all cleaned out, and they left a bunch of honey because they didn't do a thorough inspection on the site, the hive site.